Hi, I'm Nicole Jiam, and I am a senior at Johns Hopkins University studying neuroscience and a business minor. I'd like to acknowledge my sister Hannah Jiam in the back and team members Erica Moore and Parissa Terari for their continuous efforts and dedication. And I'd also like to thank Judy, the Teens Turning Green team, and Dean Boswell for their endless support throughout the 30-day challenge. All my life, I was raised in Phoenix, Arizona. Green was not part of my color spectrum, and if you've been to Phoenix, you'd realize why. Well, despite living in a state that's been suffering from a drought since 1995, I knew very little about water conservation and water footprints. In fact, my idea of what it meant to be green was somewhat limited to generalized stereotypes, such as tree huggers. And frankly, living in Arizona, hugging a cactus just doesn't give you the same satisfaction as hugging a tree. But as I grew older, I became more aware of the detrimental effects and the environmental consequences of our apathy. And global warming and extinct species and fossil fuels, they all opened my eyes to a new horizon. I was increasingly aware that this is an important, critical issue that we needed to address. But here was the problem. I wasn't quite sure how I could address these issues at my age with the level of impact I wanted to achieve. But I took action anyways. And in the summer of my sophomore year in high school, I received a merit scholarship to lead 3 sustainable community service projects in the villages and rainforests of Costa Rica. It was by far one of the most memorable summers of my life. And for those 2 months, my involvement ranged from saving sea turtles from poachers to employing sustainable agriculture methods in the local community gardens, to using manure for methane gas for cooking and heating, to learning about sustainable management through conservation practices. And these lessons, challenges, and experiences certainly made a very monumental and lasting impression on me. But when I returned back to my home in America, I found that little has changed. And the question came down to this again. How do I translate the degree of impact I achieved in Costa Rica back into an environment where I had limitations on time and limitations on priorities? And so this is where Project Green Challenge came in. I remember stumbling upon it the night before it began on just like our school website. And I thought that Project Green Challenge was such an innovative concept, such an interesting platform, an opportunity of a lifetime, and I wanted to be a part of this meaningful cause. At the same time, I was nervous. I was intrigued and nervous, and I thought, can I do this, a 21-year-old neuroscience major? Well, despite the academic rigor of our school with our academic majors and with the time constraints from our extracurricular activities and midterms, our team demonstrated the courage to speak up about issues that were not yet addressed, the refusal to settle for complacency and the status quo, the initiative to approach others for questionnaires, interviews, opinions, and for change, the innate curiosity and need to increase our understanding about what's going on in the environment, and ultimately a commitment for our actions and our community. In his inaugural address, Ron Daniels, the president of Johns Hopkins University, said, "Global climate change is one of humanity's greatest challenges. The Earth's rising temperature will, over the decades to come, increase, change how we live and where we live, the ecosystems in which we inhabit, the quality of life that we have, and even our health. Addressing this challenge head on is a shared responsibility, and one especially as residents of the developed world. But institutions have a special responsibility in society, and they have a special role. We are institutions that change, that discover, that educate, and that often set an example. And when it comes to this, Johns Hopkins will be a leader of all 3. Well, have we? And my answer is yes. As Hopkins students and Project Green Challenger participants, our team has applied our skills of scientific investigation to write proposals on paper initiatives and recycling bin programs. We've used our expertise of collaboration and teamwork to work together as a team and complete 100% of the challenges over the 30-day period. We've used our utilization of public speaking skills to talk to the key administrators, the student body, and the community to ignite change. And over the 30-day period, we've challenged ourselves as leaders to be accountable for our actions and take responsibility for our planet. So I wanted to say, I think what is the most important component about Project Green Challenge is that it's taught me how to incorporate small, sustainable, but impactful acts into my everyday life. All my life, I've associated, action, advocacy, and success with these huge initiatives, such as my time in Costa Rica, that require an abundance of time, excessive resources, and unheard originality. And while these certainly are one form of social advocacy, change can also take small but just as impactful forms. For instance, like adding a recycling bin beside every single trash can on our school campus and the medical school in Bloomberg School of Public Health. Like making sure we buy our goods from the local farmers market and holding our schools accountable. Like holding a campus-wide electronic recycling drive to make sure that we have responsible disposals of batteries and technology. Like offering the option to flush with less water at every single toilet at Johns Hopkins University. Like making sure our cafeterias provide cage-free eggs and buys from our local farmers and dairies in our school cafeterias. For instance, going paperless with our student organizations and our clubs. And replacing our paper towel dispensers with air dryers. And also making sure our buildings are LEED certified. And when these changes are taken 365 days of the year, by 5,000 students each day, the impact is tremendous. And what I've learned from Project Green Challenge is change is easy. It can be normalcy, and it can be a lifestyle. And it's my hope that Johns Hopkins University, with the help of Teens Turning Green, will help other universities to follow suit and to incorporate these practices into their everyday lives. When I think of the word green now, the words responsibility, accountability, shared, kindness, and my lifestyle comes to mind. And this is how Project Green Challenge has changed me. Thank you. Thank you.